Real strength doesn't to make noise. It doesn't to have to. In this world, everything is about hitting back, getting even, and constantly showing everyone what you worth. Being quiet can seem like you giving up. Society tells us to speak up when someone disrespects us, to make ourselves heard when people ignore us, and to strike back when we re-attack. But here, as I thought, what if genuine power isn't found in pushing back, but in holding back? That's the contradiction we're facing. Real control comes when you stop fighting against what your enemy throws at you and start controlling what you throw back. That is where we bring in Machiavelli. Niccolo Machiavelli, the famous and debated writer on power, strategy, and political influence, figured out something that most people today still haven't grasped. He recognized that managing how you present yourself, keeping your emotions in check, and controlling how you respond is way deadlier than raw aggression. In his book, The Prince, he put it this way: it is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. But the fear he is talking about wasn't built on being violent. It was built on controlling how people see you when you make your move and knowing when to stay quiet. So right now, we're going to walk through 6 silent principles for complete control. These aren't cheap tricks or psychological games. They are about smart development, hidden power, and learning the fine skill of becoming rock solid. Let us start this path with clear vision, looking not only at the outside world but also at ourselves. You'll discover that control isn't about making others do what you want. It's about never letting them make you do what they want. I am asking you to leave this statement in the comments. Silence is my strongest move. Before we get into it, please hit like, leave a comment, and share this video. Hit subscribe on the channel and don't skip through any part of this video. Each part lays the groundwork for something major. Rule number 1. Stop justifying your actions. Benjamin Disraeli once said, "Never complain, never explain." One of the strongest types of power is being able to walk away from needing everyone to get you. Most people can stop justifying themselves. They are always explaining their choices, defending what they've done, and looking for approval. But each time you explain too much, you handing away some of your strength. You basically saying, your opinion is more important than my inner calm. Control starts the second you stop giving that strength away. Think about it. Have you ever seen someone say no and not give a reason? Or watched someone do something unexpected and refuse to talk about why? There's something really attractive about that. It is intriguing, maybe even a little scary. That is because strength lives in keeping things simple, in being clear without needing to be understood. Machiavelli got this completely. He told leaders to make quick decisions, but keep their real reasons hidden. When people don't understand your motivations, they can guess your next move, control your actions, or play games with you. That inability to predict you, that is control. Now let's make this practical. Maybe you improving yourself quietly, building better habits, cutting off negative people. Maybe your wins haven't shown up yet and people are asking you questions. Don't give them answers. Let your results do the talking. Every time you justify yourself, you recreating a crack in the wall, you reconstructing. And believe me, what is behind that wall is huge. People get nervous around what they can figure out. They can easily dismiss what they understand. But when you a silent force, acting with purpose and no explanations, you become impossible to touch. Here is what nobody wants to admit. The toughest people will walk away from fights they know they could win, just to keep their inner peace. They understand that reacting is just a distraction. If someone needs to understand why you made a change, they probably weren't making changes with you to begin with. This quietness isn't being weak. It is a tool. You don't owe anyone an explanation. What you owe yourself is success. Rule number 2. Allow their pride to destroy them. Napoleon Bonaparte once said, when the enemy is making a false move, don't interrupt him. Control isn't always about charging ahead. Sometimes it's about smart stillness. It's about watching other people make mistakes while you stay steady. Pride acts like a blindfold. The most risky people in any situation are those who think nothing can touch them. Here is the principle. When someone looks down on you, thinks less of you, or tries to get a rise out of you. Done. To set them straight. Let them think nobody's special. Let them get comfortable. Let them lower their defenses. Then make your move. Machiavelli was all about appearances. Not because being fake was good, but because it was smart strategy. Acting weaker than you really are, seeming less aware than you actually are. This gets you in the door. It helps you see what's really going on. And most importantly, it gives your opponent space to show their hand. True control looks like this. Fighting the need to prove anything. The moment you start trying to prove something, you're already playing their game. And if their game is all about ego, well, they've been practicing that game a lot longer than you. Let them run their mouth. Let them think less of you. Let them confuse your silence with not knowing better. While they were busy putting on a show, you were getting stronger. You see this pattern everywhere in life. In your job, in your relationships, in how people view your social standing. Somebody assumes they've beaten you at your own game. They show off their spot at the top. They make fun of the fact that you staying quiet. But here is what happens when you remain calm, centered, and think several steps ahead. They start falling apart on their own. The more noise they make, the more they reveal about themselves. And once their pride takes over completely, they basically digging their own hole. Have you watched someone get a little too relaxed? They start taking wild chances because they figured you weren't any kind of threat. It is a common thing. When those situations come up, they got a decision to make. Copy their behavior or stay in control of your own. Pick control every time. You don to take over the chess game by rushing all your pieces forward at the same time. You come out on top by making your opponent think they winning right up until you make your precise move. Let their pride set up the whole show. You just sit back and wait for it to come crashing down. Rule number 3. Let your success do all the talking. The Joker from The Dark Knight said, if you are good at something, never do it for free. Now we need to discuss the ultimate quiet power play. Improving yourself so obviously that you never have to open your mouth. There's something beautiful about getting so locked in on your own development that you don't even notice all the background noise. People try to bring you down. You keep building. People doubt what you worth. You keep building. People attempt to create conflict. You keep building. That is the winning approach. Machiavelli understood that how the public sees you is what matters most. He told leaders not to waste their energy defending who they are as people, but rather to focus on accomplishments that would shut down the critics automatically. Put another way, to discuss power. Create it. The people who get misunderstood the most are those who are right in the middle of changing. You no longer the person you were before, but you haven't fully arrived at who you becoming. So what's the result? People make judgments. They lose faith in you. They talk down to you. And in that delicate middle ground, most people can take it and fall apart. But you different. Your responsibility is to develop yourself away from everyone's eyes. To broadcast every single step forward. To share every plan you working on. To waste energy responding to attacks. Let how much you grow and embarrass them. Let how you change make their assumptions look foolish. You'll start noticing something when you genuinely begin improving yourself. You talk less. It's not because you scared. It is because you concentrated. You start understanding that being quiet, ISN, the same as being empty. It is actually packed with movement. Authentic transformation doesn't make as much sound as false bravado. You might feel like nobody sees you right now. That is perfectly fine. It is supposed to be this way. Caterpillars to make a bunch of noise before they turn into butterflies. They go off alone. They go through their change. And once they come out, they don't need to justify anything. Their wings speak for themselves. Be exactly like that. Let people sit and wonder what you working on. Let them guess and theorize. Let them go completely silent when you step into the room several months down the line. Not because you talked about it, but because you transformed into it. This is the method powerful people use to win. Through outcomes, through staying quiet, through change that nobody can argue with. I am asking you to leave this statement in the comments. Success is my only response. Rule number 4. Step back to move forward. Marcus Aurelius said, withdraw into yourself. It is in the silence that you will find strength. Sometimes the strongest play you can make is to remove yourself from the situation. Not because you angry, Not because you were weak, but because it is the smart move. There is a point when your personal development doesn't to match the environment you re in anymore. The talks feel meaningless. The atmosphere feels draining. People's expectations are set way too low. That is the moment to step away from view. This ascend to cutting yourself off from the world. It is a period of development. Machiavelli didn't trust crowds. He cautioned leaders that regular people are inconsistent. They celebrate you today and turn on you tomorrow. That is exactly why real leaders figure out how to lead from a distance. Not because they think they read better, but to protect themselves. Creating space helps you see things clearly, and seeing clearly gives you strength. There's something special about taking a step back. You quit putting on an act. You quit reacting to everything. You quit giving energy to all the distractions. And in that quietness, you reconnect with what you were really trying to accomplish. You readjust your direction. You reconstruct yourself. But here, it's the thing. Society can stand it when you disappear. Why? Because when you're not always available, you become hard to predict. And people who are hard to predict are threatening because they can be manipulated. So people will try to make you feel bad. They will tell you that you've been transformed, that you're behaving differently. Perfect. That's exactly what should happen. You're not meant to stay stuck in the same patterns your whole life. You're not supposed to stay reachable for the same conflict, the same gossip, the same safe space. Your decision to pull back is your advantage. Put it to work. When you out of sight, you quit being affected by comparing yourself to others. You begin listening to your own internal voice. And when you come back, if that is what you decide, you return more focused, more composed, more locked in than you've ever been. People don't even recognize who you are anymore. And that's how it should be. Let the person you used to be stay buried in the past. You don't give anyone a front row seat to watch you heal. You don't need to tell everyone what you aiming for. Just fade out. And then come back up, the same way the moon goes behind the clouds, only to show up again more brilliant, more complete, impossible to ignore. I am asking you to leave this statement in the comments. I disappear to rise higher. Rule number 5. Observe instead of reacting. Lao Tzu said, "He who controls others may be powerful, but he who has mastered himself is mightier still." There is an automatic response that most people just can't stop. The urge to react immediately. Somebody insults you, you shoot something back. Someone questions you, you try to show them they were wrong. Someone shows you disrespect, you jump to defend yourself. But here is what you need to know. Every time you react, it costs you something. And what you repaying with is your own power. Machiavelli figured out that feelings get in the way of good decisions. The leader who responds without thinking is easy to control. But the leader who watches carefully, who remembers everything, who saves what they learned for exactly the right time, that person is lethal. Think about the most threatening people in any group. They were not making the most noise. They were not the most confrontational. They were the calmest ones in the room. They were paying attention, writing things down mentally, recognizing behaviors, gathering information. And once the perfect moment arrives, they act with absolute accuracy. That is your new approach. You don't to get into arguments with people who aren't worth your time. You examine them. You don't to hit back when someone comes at you. You break down what they were doing. You don't to answer every little poke. You save it for when you might need that information to your advantage. You turn strategic, not just sitting there doing nothing. You are deliberate about everything. This works in every part of life. In your personal connections, when somebody attempts to mess with your head, don't to argue with them. Watch what they do. Store it in your memory. Believe what the pattern shows you. At your job, when someone tries to undercut you, don't to let your feelings take over. Make a mental note of it. Figure out what they were trying to do. Use that knowledge to get ahead of them when the chance shows up. Out in public, when someone attempts to shame you, keep your cool. They were actually revealing more about who they are than anything about you. Let their own insecurities put them on display. This isn't about being emotionless. It is about having clarity. You are not a toy. You are not being controlled by strings. And you don't to perform just because someone yanks on you. Your strength is found in your power to decide when how, and whether you even respond at all. Because while they bouncing around reacting to everything, you reconstructing something meaningful, a collection of memories, a game plan, something that will last. And when your moment finally comes, you act with such pinpoint precision that people will assume it was just chance. But it wasn't chance at all. It was self-control. Rule number 6. Destroy them by not caring. Extended ending. Anton Chekhov said, "To be insulted by a fool is a pleasure." There comes a stage in your development where disrespect doesn't even register anymore. Not because people quit trying to disrespect you, but because you quit letting it matter. That stage right there, that is genuine control. You likely heard people say, kill them with kindness, but being kind still takes effort. It still means you re-acknowledging their existence. What if you took it one step further? What if you destroyed them by simply not caring at all? It's the highest level of strength. Complete disinterest in garbage. Machiavelli was convinced that leaders need to learn how to stay unbothered by small-minded stuff. He explained that a smart leader should seem like a good person, but only take action when it benefits their goals. That translates to ignoring petty insults, meaningless fights, and anything that doesn't push your bigger picture forward. Not because you can handle it, but because your attention is somewhere more important. The reality is, not everything is worth your time and energy. Not every insult needs you to fire back. Not every rumor needs you to set the record straight. The people with real power have figured this out. They're worth to something people can debate, and when you don to care, it scares the people who are insecure. They want to watch you lose your composure. They want to see you drop the act. When you refuse to give them that, they start falling apart themselves. Just think about it. When someone tries to get under your skin and you just smile, give them a small nod, or simply turn and leave. What is their response? They turn it up. They get even louder, more over the top. Why does that happen? Because your silence hits them hard. It communicates, I'm not playing your game. That is what real control looks like. Not making a scene, not getting payback, but the ice-cold, quiet choice to not even recognize the attempt. Let them run their mouths. Let them keep trying to bother you. Let them ask themselves why you were not bothered. Let them stay confused. While they refixated on why you want to react, you recreating something much more significant. You taking command of your reactions, your energy, and your inner calm. And that type of control, it can be questioned. It can be faked. It can be purchased. You earn it by training your emotions. So moving forward, the next time somebody tries to drag you into some pointless drama, done to give them a response. Done to justify yourself. Done to try to explain. Just keep moving like they invisible. That is how you win without even stepping into the fight. That is not being weak. That is being emotionally indestructible. Marcus Aurelius wrote this: "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. You've now gone through all 6 silent principles for complete control. But here is the thread connecting everything together: mastering yourself. Every single point in this video wasn't only about tactics. It was about you as a person. Your quietness, your ability to hold back, your development, your indifference to nonsense. These aren't indicators that you backing down. These are the building blocks of Stoic strength. Stoicism gives us a lesson that lines up perfectly with Machiavelli. It's more ruthless wisdom. If you can manage yourself, nobody else gets to manage you. Let them think less of you. Let them spread rumors. Let them sit there puzzled. Your power isn't demonstrated by making noise, but by what you choose not to do. You don't react. You don't beg anyone for anything. You don't justify yourself. You don't get involved in small-time battles, because what you reconstructing is an empire inside yourself. The Stoics were convinced that the biggest win is winning against yourself. Not your enemies, not your competition, not the entire world, just you. That inner voice telling you to snap back. That pride wanting revenge. That fear needing approval. You take control of that voice, and everything else lines up naturally. Machiavelli showed us how to lead by controlling how others see us. Stoicism shows us how to lead by sticking to our values. Put both together, and you become impossible to touch. So here is the closing thought. Done to strike back. Done to cause a commotion. done to react to everything. Take charge of yourself. Operate in silence. Let your achievements make all the noise. This is your opportunity to climb in a way that nobody can stop, because nobody even realizes it is happening. But understand this, the path of silent power isn't easy. It goes against everything society programmed you to believe. You'll be tested. People will mistake your silence for weakness. They'll push harder, expecting you to break. That's when you hold the line. Because here is what they done. They tell you, the moment you stop needing to prove yourself is the moment you become unstoppable. The second you stop caring about their opinion is when you become truly free. And the day you master your own mind is the day the entire game changes. Most people will never reach this level. They'll spend their whole lives reacting, explaining, and fighting battles that don't matter. They'll all chase validation like it is oxygen. They'll all burn themselves out trying to control everyone except the one person they actually can control, themselves. But you're different. You're here because something inside you knows there is a better way, a quieter way, a more powerful way. So I am going to ask you one final question, and I need you to answer honestly. Not to me, but to yourself. Are you ready to disappear from the noise and become the signal? Are you prepared to build in silence while others sleep? Can you handle being misunderstood on your way to being undeniable? If the answer is yes, then this is your community. This is where silent warriors are built. Comment right now which of these 6 rules you re-implementing first. Don't just watch and leave. Commit publicly. Because when you declare it, you become accountable. When you subscribe, you choosing to stay on this path. And when you turn on notifications, you retelling yourself, I'm serious about this transformation. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs more people like you, controlled, focused, and absolutely unshakable. People who move in silence and strike with precision. People who have mastered themselves so completely that external chaos can detach them. This isn't just another self-improvement video. This is a declaration of war against your weaker self. This is the moment you choose power over popularity, strategy over emotion, and silence over noise. So make your choice right now. Comment your commitment, hit subscribe, and join the ranks of those who understand that real strength doesn't announce itself. It just is. Welcome to the silent revolution. Let us build empires while the world sleeps. Your next move. Comment, I choose silent power. Subscribe and hit the notification bell. Share this with one person who needs to hear it. Watch our next video on advanced Stoic strategies dropping this week. The journey starts now. Not tomorrow, now.